It's Deidre.
I fear that no matter what I do, I'm never going to win this game. I've truly gotten to a point where I can no longer trust myself and my decisions, especially when it comes to dating and relationships, because no matter what I do, I still consistently get the same outcome every single time. And this is extremely defeating and demoralizing and frustrating because I have spent the better half of my late 20s really digging deep into my patterns and my attachment, my shadow parts, and my childhood, and really trying to figure out, why am I attracted to the types of people that I'm attracted to? What within me needs to still be worked on and healed in order to stop being attracted to these kinds of people? And every single time I feel like I have taken a step forward or I've finally met someone that is different from the rest, they end up being worse than the people that I knew before I started any of this healing stuff. I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot of things that I unfortunately cannot unlearn now that I know. But I really thought that being super intentional with myself and my process of choosing someone and just how I handle things was going to give me a different outcome. And it hasn't. I feel like I have made zero progress. I feel like I've gotten nowhere. So much so to the point where literally the next person I meet, I'm not going to trust it. And that is the most devastating part to me because ultimately I don't trust myself. I would have thought that by now things would have been a little bit different. I at least maybe would have gotten a little bit of reward for everything that I have done to work on myself. And instead, I just continue to find myself back at square one, wondering what's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? What do I have to change? And it's exhausting.
So I think it's amazing that she is so self-aware. That's a beautiful thing. I love the fact that after a series of less than ideal situations, she took herself to therapy. She did her shadow work. She confronted things within her that needed to start healing. But one thing I want to point out is that she mentioned being disappointed when she thought someone was different from everyone else. I think that we should let people show us who they are before we make a judgment. You get me? I don't know how long she was in these situations, but it sounds like she's pretty young. She said later half of her 20s. She's young. I think it's important to remember you cannot assume you know who people are just because of how they behave when you meet them. There's so much about them that you do not know and do not have a way to know, aside from them possibly telling you. But if there's something to hide, they're probably not going to tell you. What you do, give time for people to show you who they are. And as you're observing, this is a little bonus. As you're observing during the time that you're getting to know this person, you're not paying attention to the things that they're saying, per se. You're actually paying attention to their patterns of behavior. Because they can lie all day. But when you're actually observing who they are as a person and learning to read between the lines, it makes it a little bit easier to see what you're working with here. And the next step to that is not being afraid to clock it and move accordingly as far as whether or not you will continue trying to have a relationship with this person. She says it's getting hard to trust. And I can understand that, but perhaps you shouldn't be trusting someone that you don't actually know. As I'm getting to know someone, I will hear what they have to say. Okay, I understand. Yeah, that makes sense. But that is not what I'm looking at in order to build trust. I'm looking at what's in between the lines to determine how much trust I'm willing to put into the situation. And it's never 100% trust at the beginning stages of getting to know them. Give them time to show you who they are. And be willing to walk away when you see that it's something that's probably not going to work out for you. Protect your peace, madame. Don't be too quick to hand it to people who kind of look good on the outside without actually taking the time to understand what's going on the inside.
Yeah!